Rents, signing an apartment lease is costing more and more across the city. Our ABC7 data team found where rents are increasing the most and how much you can expect to pay. There are also ways to save.
I love my home, but I just don't feel that hike is fair.
Golf says two of her neighbors moved out recently, telling her the rent increase was a big part of the reason.
Eventually, we're losing each side of Division Street. We're losing it to the developers.
And that's why we picked not just showing some wonderment of films of kids finding butterflies or something. We wanted to make a political point. I'm from Chicago.
By way of previewing America's largest inland city,
just north of Lincoln Park, but we in the neighborhood knew it as over by the ballpark. Where I went from 1st to 6th grade was as far east of the L track as Wrigley Field was west of it, which means it was practically next to it. So on the 3rd floor, with the windows open, the mixture of an A train roaring through, the Cubs having hit a home run, or more likely their opponents hitting a home run, and everyone's cheering in the ballpark, there was too much noise for the teacher, and he had to stop. So when they get the movie projectors and the slide projectors and things, I learned to operate and thread a movie projector.
The title should read correctly.
I mean, in some ways, it was my first job in the film industry. As I mature into an adult and get a world view, it's at the same time that the civil rights movement is happening. So I'm thinking that the stories I want to tell might be related to that in some way.
The carrying of visible arms, patrols of the Black Panther Party for self-defense cruised in the ghetto following police cars.
In a nuclear attack on this country, one of the greatest threats would be radioactive fallout.
Students all over the Southland decided that they could not and would not accept segregation at lunch counters any longer.
You don't seriously think you're going to get Americans to go communist, do you?
And in the process of fission, a tiny fraction is left over. What happens to it? It explodes as energy. It was little wonder the first thought was a weapon.
Would you listen to me?
We wanted to make a political point, and that's why we chose the subject matter of Now We Live on Clifton.
Oh, 2 in a row!
The film came about because we were looking for funding for films. We were looking for foundations that offered grants, and there was a local foundation called the Cole Foundation.
A hope starter, an inspiration, a generous spirit.
That's what the Herb Cole Foundation does. It reminds us all that we have a power to do good.
We proposed to them that we make 2 films for the middle school audience, about kids, for kids.
This is where we go to school. It's right up the street from where we live.
And we also wanted to show that how it affected kids of that age.
This is Wally's house. Wally's family and 2 other families live here, right across the street from DePaul University. And DePaul bought the house, and houses all over there, around there, and this house. And I think there was some of these houses, like that house, like they're gonna tear them down, and pretty soon Wally's gonna have to move.
There was a story we wanted to tell. There were social problems that we wanted to talk about.
It come because we thought that women were the ones who usually were the ones who got raped.
And often, if there was a solution to those, we wanted to expose to wider audiences people who were addressing those problems.
I like the people around here because they're nice and stuff, and like all my friends that live around here aren't just white. They're Mexican and black, and it doesn't matter to them either what color their friends are. And when DePaul tears down Wally's house, it's going to mean one less place to play and one less friend to play with.
The family that we ended up choosing, living in the DePaul area, they were living on Clifton, hence the title, but they had earlier lived on Fullerton near the campus.
Where did you used to live when you started playing here?
On Fullerton, right there. In the red and yellow house. Now we live on Clifton, 2138 North Clifton.
What we hoped that would happen was that it would be shown widely in middle schools and in high schools, but also adults seemed to like it. It became one of our most watched films. Now it's used by the university. Our filmmaking group, Kartemquin Films, was asked to do a presentation with the family at DePaul, and they invited the Lincoln Park community to come see it. We had a panel where we brought the family back. The father had passed away. The son was living on the East Coast, but the older and younger daughter and the mother were still around, and they came and talked to the audience. More recently, I have been going to show the film in a class and then spend another half hour talking, having a conversation with the students about what the responsibility of DePaul is to its community, and broader, what all colleges and universities have to the communities that they are part of. A film on a shelf is not a film. It's only a film when it's being shown and, in our perspective, being talked about. We don't like having our films shown without discussions after it. We don't keep people from doing that. But the idea is to make films for fodder for discussions. All our films of that period, I can't speak to films that they're making now, were made not just about the social justice issue, but they were made with people and about people who were engaging those issues, addressing those issues, and finding ways to fight them on the city level, on the particular institutional level, the city, state, federal level. We were always tied into things like that. We had 6 or 8 of us on the group that was making the film. All of us, I believe, certainly the majority of us, lived in Lincoln Park. I had parallels in it. I was forced to move from Lincoln Park because my rent doubled. It was just so much of me. The fact is that it was about me too.